Okay, yes, well, welcome. It is time today for awkwardly awesome episode 23 with Bill and Kyle. This is going to be a really fun one. So see you in a sec.
Today's guest, Bill and Kyle Stumpf.
Hey, I'm so pleased to have Bill and Kyle. I let me tell you a little about them before I bring them on. Bill and his son Kyle Stumpf live in Dubuque, Iowa. Bill is employed as a licensed practical nurse at an intermediate care faculty facility for people with intellectual disabilities. Kyle is employed at Papa John's Pizza. Bill became active in the disability movement shortly after Kyle, who has Down syndrome, was born in 1990. Bill currently serves on the board of Disability Rights Iowa in the Association for People Supporting Employment First, as well as being a member of the Iowa Coalition for Integration and Employment. Bill and Kyle have been engaging political candidates at the local, state, and national level in support of disability rights, with a focus on access to voting for people with disabilities, healthcare reform, and competitive integrative employment. Please help me welcome Bill and Kyle. Yeah, I'm bringing them on now. You will. Hey, hello, Sioux Falls.
Hi, Jason. That was a great introduction. Thank you. What do you say? Did you do a good job? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
It's such an honor to have you, and it's been so fun thinking about the first time we met. Cause so we met at a self-advocacy conference, and you know how speakers kind of get nervous beforehand. Well, I'm one of those speakers. So I came up to talk to you two, and you have a friend. You both have a friend in San Diego, and then I just was so inspired by you, Kyle, because you're a man of very few words, but you just beam positive energy. And so after that, I thought that was nice getting to know you, and I got up on stage. And the whole time I was talking, Kyle, you just kept giving me this positive energy. You are, I don't know if you know this, Kyle, but you are such a massive encourager of other people.
You know that? And I've shared with you, Jason, that I get to experience that pretty much on a daily basis, you know. And if I'm having a difficult day, Kyle, you ground me, don't you? You kind of say, don't sweat the small stuff, huh? Yes. Yeah. So it's yeah.
So how would you say Kyle grounds you?
You know, I'm involved in a lot of things, so it does sometimes, get you stressed out and you're going in a bunch of different directions. And then when he comes home from work, it's just like, okay, this is family. This is what we do now. So although he's involved in a lot of those things with me too, so we do that as a team, and it makes it better. But sometimes it's just his presence. It's kind of difficult to explain sometimes, but it's almost like, okay, without even saying it in so many words, he's telling me don't sweat the small stuff. And then he kind of stalks me and says, time to have dinner. So I've got to get busy doing that. And well, indeed, don't you?
It's really good not doing this interview at like 6 o'clock, huh?
Yeah, it probably is. Right in the middle of dinner? Yeah, that wouldn't be good, would it? But we've done those too, but it's okay. So if I can, Jason, it's probably a good idea for me to just kind of, and you mentioned Kyle is a man of few words, but he speaks a lot. And by that, I mean, and just history-wise, when Kyle was a baby, had a lot of pretty significant medical stuff, and one of them being that because he was premature, he did require having a trach for 3 years. So, that combined with having Down syndrome, there were some significant speech delays, and still are. We've tried a lot of communication devices. You don't really care for them, do you? And what we found out was that, we actually had some speech folks come in to his job because we were worried about him making his point. And she said he does just fine. So, people communicate in so many different ways. I don't have any problem talking, and you let me know when it's time for me to shut up, don't you? But so I kind of am. I heard it earlier today on another Zoom call that they're the translator a little bit for their son or daughter when they're like at the doctor and stuff. And I never heard it termed that way, and that's kind of good because Kyle can answer the questions, and I probably am a little better in understanding what he's trying to say to the doctor. So then I'll reiterate that. So it just seems to work, and kind of in a nutshell, that's what we do. But we definitely work as a team.
So this is very important point. You translate for Kyle. It's not like it's not like your dad speaks for you. I mean, it's not like you're translating. You're not giving Kyle his opinions, right?
And that gets tricky sometimes. And he's having a little procedure. Can I share this? Tomorrow afternoon, actually, and the doctor and I was impressed with the doctor because he looked at Kyle and he said, we can do it 2 different ways, either in the office or in the OR. And back in earlier days, it would have been better probably go to the OR, but Kyle said he could do it in the office. And so he made his choice on that, and I explained how that was going to work and stuff. So it was his choice to do that. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. It's a pretty simple thing. So, but it's still a procedure. And, the same thing with, I don't know, just everyday activities, what do you want to do? And he makes his choices that way. And he does so with the staff that work with him as well. You think that's pretty accurate?
Sure. We're getting a little feedback, but
I'm hearing that too. Let me adjust this again. Maybe I can.
But
how does this sound? I did echo cancellation. Sounds better on my end.
Yeah.
It's not.
Gee, you're
but
turning me into a tech-savvy wizard here, Jason.
but now am I echoing?
No, I don't hear it.
Oh, shoot.
I went to the cam mic button and there was a little box that was checked and it said echo cancellation, and I clicked it and it seems like it went away.
No, that doesn't work.
That doesn't sound good.
Shoot, now I'm hearing my own voice. Maybe can you take it off echo cancellation?
Yep. How does that work?
Okay, maybe that's good.
Yeah, you sound better now. That's perfect.
So it's so nice, like being able to make simple decisions like that. Like say, I want my procedure at the clinic and not at the hospital. It's so nice, isn't it, Kyle?
It is, and we'll let them know after tomorrow, huh? How it goes. But I think it should be pretty smooth. You know, there's the other piece that I could use as an example that I was thinking of is probably with voting, and we have, you know, researched candidates both together oftentimes because we go to events together. But Kyle makes his own choices in that regard, and might surprise people that we've actually disagreed on candidates, which makes it interesting. And but yet it's also a great point because he does make his own decision. Now it's a little more unique because we discuss it, and he does live with me, so probably just like all of us, we get some of our political persuasion from our families, and
yes,
like that, you know, and you know, it's not a partisan thing. It's just, you know, we talk about the candidates, and then I will probably share with him more detailed information on which candidates might support disability rights more. And that's, I feel, is just giving him the information that he needs. But, you know, it has been interesting. There's been two pretty significant times that we actually disagreed. One was on a national level, and one was on more of a local state level.
And
you're usually right.
It's such a nice thing to be able to vote and to just have a voice counted. And there's so many important issues out there. Isn't there, Kyle? A lot of important things to think about.
So what do we tend to talk about when we talk to the candidates? Do we talk about work a lot? We've shared Kyle's, you know, his journey and transition to real employment with candidates, and you know, hopefully that all people with disabilities can make at least above minimum wage, and we advocate strong for that. So the good thing was we live in Iowa, and during the caucus season, which I don't know if there'll ever be another one again because it was kind of a disaster this year, but it was a good opportunity to meet a lot of folks that were running and share that story with them. And that issue is not often heard and tends to get put on the back burner. Any disability issue or anything relating to employment, oftentimes, and a lot of those candidates were current senators or representatives, so they were in there, and it was also helpful to, you know, let them know these issues in their current status. And hopefully when some of that legislation comes up, they might remember, hey, we talked to these guys in Dubuque, one that talks a lot and one that doesn't talk a whole lot. And maybe they'll just remember a piece of it and what our message was. And that's our hope.
It's so important. Like when we hear abstract issues and there's no relation to us individually, it's hard to kind of get on board and understand the significance. But when you see a video like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, should we watch a video quick? And because it's so
Sure.
wonderful.
Do you want to watch a good video? I think maybe you might be in it. Sure.
So let me tell you, Kyle, this video has this amazing, brilliant person in it. And you'll see who it is. Okay.
I'd gotten comfortable with Kyle in a pre-voc setting that was working well for him. Things were comfortable there, so actually started to explore with vocational rehabilitation and started the process, which took about a year in all. Well, in the meantime, a friend of ours who managed the local Papa John's, was a friend of Kyle's, approached our family and was wondering what Kyle was doing and would like to give him a job. And the rest is kind of history, actually. So he's really blossomed in the environment, seems to be a motivator at work, always excited about going to work, and then getting his paycheck is really the reward. So it's been great.
Well, Kyle came here about a year ago. We brought him in as Mr. Slice and a box folder. When we brought him in, we had problems with the staff getting along with one another. The moment that Kyle actually walked through the door, everyone started coming together. They started working with Kyle a little bit more. You know, they had to build that team to support every member of it, and Kyle has just brought us all together. It's his attitude. You know, you can bring in a 16-year-old kid. They're going to come in, they're going to have their head down, and they're just not going to go up and beyond. They're not going to have the ability to get along with everyone, and Kyle brings that. There's never a time that he doesn't have a smile on his face. As soon as you walk through the door, customer or employee, you're greeted by him with a high five, a fist pump. He's done more than I could ever imagine from the beginning to now. He's just fantastic. He's one of our better employees, that's for sure. You know, Kyle keeps us together. He's, you know, in the kitchens, it's fast paced, you've got a lot of stress going on. So the only way to relieve that is by enjoying what you do. And we'll throw on some music, Kyle will dance around just like all of us. You just kind of get into that mode and you keep going. Anytime we've got a carry-out customer, Kyle will be folding boxes, he'll stop, he'll grab the door for them. There's nothing better than having a gentleman at the door.
I'd love to see him working full-time. I think that is anybody's goal. He'd love it too. And he doesn't even have to tell me. I think he shows it in his actions when he's at work, when he comes home from work. He's always excited about it.
Awesome. You do good work, you know that, right? Yeah. Awesome.
Did you recognize that guy?
Kyle, you are a genius. Seeing that video, I've seen it twice today, and it makes me smile each time.
Like
What, I mean, what an asset to, and I love how the manager really, he really captures like how valuable it is to have someone who's just energizing the workplace and bringing people together rather than creating drama, and that's what Kyle does.
you do.
How do you do it, Kyle? Yeah, you're like magic.
Just what you do, isn't it? and that is, you know, continues today, and it's always great to see the video. And I do have to give a shout out to ID Action in Iowa, who's, you know, they're part of the Developmental Disability Council that made the video, and the amazing photographer Dan Welk. But you know, now at work, they're, you know, yesterday he got called in. It was the first time that really happened because they needed him to help out at work, and that may sound small to somebody else, but it was just really kind of cool because it talked about Kyle's contribution, and they needed him. And we've switched managers since then, and the new manager that's there now has really embraced it. And we're actually in the process of backing off on more job coaching. So Kyle's going to be there doing his own job, just doing his job like everybody. And that's a step in the process that your coworkers kind of pick up. And, you know, there's a fancy word called natural supports. It's really just your coworkers helping you out like we all do. We all depend on our coworkers.
Yeah. That's what we all depend on a team.
Yep. And you're part of that team, aren't you?
Two great stories come to mind. One, please tell about Kyle. You had a friend at work who was a really tall man.
You tell him what his name was? Big Dave? Yep, Dave, 6'10", and then Dave's sister Sam worked there as well. And they truly moved us in that direction of just coworkers working together. They become friends. They both since left, but we've stayed in touch. I've got great pictures of Dave and Kyle together, and I kind of joke that they're just basically twins that were separated at birth, but so big. And he goes, every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, I see Kyle. But they're great people. Dave also plays in a band, right? Earth Eraser. By the name, you can imagine they're heavy metal.
Oh, heavy metal! Wow.
And Kyle usually ends up on stage, and this, of course, was pre-COVID, but anxious to get back there again. Yep, and then you play the guitar. So,
do you like dancing, Kyle?
Oh yeah.
So Deb, who you may know, says, love these two.
And we love her too. Deb is one of my partners, or our partners in crime. She's a great advocate and just incredibly awesome, and just a great example of what great friends that we've made just in the last 30 years, and it's because of Kyle, you know. And
she says one of my favorite memories with Kyle and Bill was at the Hubble event, and Kyle reached down and held my hand. Where's the Hubble event?
Fred Hubble was a candidate for governor of Iowa, and we were, of course, backing him, and spoke at a campaign event about, you know, concerns with the disability community, as did Deb. And so we were all seated together, and yeah, it's
Nice.
awesome. Thank you, Deb.
Another really great story is, like, most of the time when there's a snow day, like a worker goes, yay, snow day, but that's not quite what happened for you, Kyle.
Right. Remember that? That's exactly right. Should I tell that story? Okay, so yeah, it was, I think this was about 2-3 years ago, maybe. It might have been early on, and we had as you can imagine, in Iowa, we get a fair amount of snow in the winter. And there was a huge snowstorm, and Kyle's boss called and said, you know, don't send him today. It's too bad out. It's not going to be busy. The weather's horrible. Not Kyle. He was up and ready to go at the crack of dawn and ready to go to work. And I just said, well, we're going to stay home today. And he wasn't happy about that. And this, you know, I was kind of getting the evil eye all day. Started to clear off a little bit in the afternoon. So I called his boss and I said, can he come in for a little bit? Because otherwise I was going to pay for that for a long time. And so he did go into work that day for a little bit. And, you know, Kyle never misses a day, and rare occasions. So he's got to miss Friday, and I don't think that's going to go over well because he has to take off after his procedure for one day. So we've been talking about that. But, you know, he's always there on time. He's never tardy. And in fact, if it's getting late, and it's interesting that Kyle doesn't formally know how to tell time, but he knows when it's time to go to work. And I can't really explain that, but when it's getting close, I'm getting kind of the look like, let's go. So, you know, it's just amazing. And again, I think it's just a matter of how he communicates, and does so maybe in a very non-traditional way, but it works. And, you know, it just seems to. And his boss has even commented on that, you know, Kyle's punctuality, and just never misses work. And that's rare these days. It truly is, especially in maybe fast food business, and, you know, just young folks in general that work. And it's just a work ethic that he has. Like to think that he got a little bit of it for me. I'm kind of that way, and I credit my mother for that. She was that way. So it is, and he's there every day. And so I think, you know, there's a sign on a picture that we did once that Kyle held up at work and said that it's not what I can't do, it's what I can do. And so he brings his skills to the workplace. They might look a little different than some of his coworkers, but what he does effectively, and he does a great job at it. And I'll credit his employer a little bit. The last couple of years, we've added some new duties. So it's not like we're at a standstill, which is another thing that I applaud the employer for, is, you know, I mean, we all know, and he's a great pizza box maker, but there's other things that he could do too. And has even made pizza on occasion, haven't you? And so well, the sky's the limit. He didn't bring one home for me, but, you know, I guess I have to pay.
Oh, shucks.
Job security.
So you're really growing in your responsibilities, Kyle, and you're learning new skills. And
learning some new stuff. Should we talk about what you do, or do you want to hear about some of the other things, or what other stuff do you do at work? So we make pizza boxes. You fluff the cheese. That was a new term for me. I didn't know what that was until we started doing it.
What is fluffing the cheese?
Can you show him what it looks like? How does it look when you fluff the cheese? No, just, he was going to go get some cheese, but but basically you go in the cooler, right? And the mozzarella is kind of in packages, and it's, as you, in the freezers, kind of lumped together, so they want it loose for when they top the cheese. So he goes in and mushes it up a little bit so that it's loose when they top the pizzas. That's called fluffing the cheese. So you learned it here, folks, from Kyle. And you do some stuff with the ovens in the morning. Takes the oven trays out after they've cooled down from the night before, and cleans them up and gets them ready for the day. Stock the soda cooler. Yeah. And kind of pick up in the parking lot when you can, garbage. So there's a few different things, which is great. And hopefully he'll continue to learn.
And you open the door when people come to it, right, Kyle?
I asked him during the video if he still does that, and he said yes. So I'll have to check that out.
Which is huge. I mean, who doesn't want to be welcomed with an open door? But this is a crucial point: making pizza boxes, fluffing cheese, working with the ovens, stocking the coolers. None of these tasks are needed. They're all essential to a pizza place operating. That is what's needed.
It really is. And the yesterday I mentioned Kyle getting called in, and I think I just got all emotional about it because it was the first time, and to Kyle it was just, okay, I get to go to work today. And
more work.
It is, yeah. It's just your day, huh? And the cool thing about it, it was functional, because what the boss explained to me that on like every other Wednesday, they're supplying the schools with pizza. I guess they're getting pizza day, and they've contracted with them. And so the day before, they've got a lot of prep work to do, and he needed Kyle to help with that. And knew Kyle would come in, I think. So it was pretty cool. It wasn't just to say, oh, he can come in today if he wants. They actually needed him there. And that's huge.
That's beautiful. And you were mentioning Kyle doesn't do everything at work, but one of us does everything does everything possible. Like if you put me in a surgery suite and ask me to do eye surgery, the patient's going to go, I'm fine, my eyes are fine, get away from me.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of the reason, we've got to educate folks that, and there's so many things with job development and within the employment, area for folks with disabilities. And there's so many supports there, job coaching. You can even do remote job coaching. There's discovery plans that you can go around and work with the individual with the disability and decide what do they want to do. So it doesn't come down to what I think Kyle's going to do. We want to engage him in that process. And I mentioned in the video, he kind of got his own job because it was a friend of his that knew him that was working at Papa John's as a manager, and reached out to one of my daughters and wanted to know what Kyle was doing. And here I am in the background going through all this paperwork and trying to figure this out and that out. And it just happened, So, again, that's Kyle making his own decision on what he wants to do. And if he wants to move on at some point, we'll support that.
Many people spend hours applying for job after job, but your job kind of fell in your lap through a friendship, huh, Kyle?
Yep. You know, it kind of did, and again, many of us have gotten jobs because we knew somebody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's
It's
one
those
of the best
connections that
ways
you
to do
make,
it.
and so that even makes it more real. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Oh, for the people who listening who might have a business, does the business have to pay the job coach then too?
No, and I would think all states have some form of vocational rehabilitation, or if people are on Medicaid can fund the job coach sometimes. So it's important to reach out, number one, to the local vocational rehabilitation folks and find out what the process is there, and be persistent. And then also, you know, Iowa Works, they call it here in Iowa, which is sort of the employment agency run by the state. They can help sometimes. And if you're utilizing a Medicaid waiver, sometimes that employment services can be part of that as well. So there's a number of different avenues, but I haven't really seen where the job coach is ever paid for by the employer. Now, the hope is that at some point, coworkers pick up and the job coach can then leave, and that's the process. But some folks require job coaching for a very long time and maybe forever. But the bottom line is that the employee is doing the work, but they're just getting the assistance from the job coach to kind of encourage them along.
So what would you say to an employer who is listening to this and saying, it sounds kind of good having it sounds kind of good having job coaches and stuff, but I just don't know if it's it. But it also sounds like something new, and I'm scared of change. What would you say to that employer, or what would you both say to that employer?
The biggest thing that I think we and Kyle brings to his job is he's always there. He doesn't miss work. So that commitment to work speaks volumes. Understand that supports are available. Employers can reach out to agencies that support people with disabilities too, and find out if they have an employment person that, and they can fill a lot of voids. People with disabilities can work and they want to work. And even folks with pretty significant disabilities I've seen be successful. It just, is there a little taking a risk sometimes? It is sometimes a risk. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but if you get the right supports there, people can be successful, and the sky's the limit. It's no different than anybody else. It just may take a little more in terms of job coaching, maybe carving out certain jobs that normally might be done by somebody else. So again, it's not, the person with disability is not going to come in and do every job, but who of us does? And you pointed out, great, Jason. But know that the supports are there and reach out to those supports. Employers can reach out to Voc Rehab as well and find out if they can make some connections there. I just think it's, if we really truly want to be an inclusive society, I think we all have a role. And I think employers have a strong role in that.
And Kyle, you're such a representative for like like showing up, not only are you on time and you don't miss hardly ever, but when you show up, you just you exude positive energy. The customers love seeing you. The employees love seeing you. It's and then to boot, you're getting work done all at the same time. It's like just this incredible win all around instead of like you working. Or for the people who don't know, what was the experience of being at the workshop like before Papa John's, Kyle?
Was okay. Can I talk a little bit about how you did at the workshop? Kyle worked at the workshop about 5 years after high school, I think, and I won't be critical that it was a bad place, because it wasn't. He was it was there, it's like anything, there's good and there's bad. It depends on where you're at, and I know there's some horrible places in the country, but there's also some folks that have a lot of really good intentions as well. And the place he was pretty good, and he had a place to go every day. He was paid a little bit, but it was about half of minimum wage. And he was safe, and we just kind of got comfortable, and I mentioned that in the video. So I'm not here to criticize that. It's just what we're here to say is that I think it's time that we can move on from that, and really explore different options for folks. And but I can't say it was a horrible experience, because that'd be easy to say, and that's why we got to stop it. But it's not. But there are some bad places. But that's when we started to explore what's next. Okay, and the other thing, even some. He's got to use the restroom, so he's gonna step away. But it's still a segregated environment, and that's, I think, the other piece of competitive integrated employment is working alongside people without disabilities. And for Kyle, a lot of that also has graduated to where he's really involved in the community. So he's a community presence too, and some of that came from being at work and being seen.
It strikes me that so much of Kyle's exuberance and talent would, if he was in a shelter work environment, meant that part of who he was, it just wouldn't be utilized in a benefit to the community, to Dubuque the way it is now.
Really is, and it's expanded his abilities, and really tapped into that. He's blossomed. I think I mentioned that in the video as well. He's really blossomed in that environment. And I will say that the agency that he worked at in the workshop are now the folks that are doing his job coaching. So it is a movement in that direction. And so the supports are there from start to finish. It was just, we needed to nudge it along a little bit.
I mean, like we all do. We put. I mean, even as kids, we progress from third grade to fourth grade, and it doesn't mean third grade was not good. It just means that now we're all doing something else.
Hey, I'm kind of the poster child for some of that. It took me over 30 years to figure out what I wanted to do. I worked in a factory setting for 30 years, which wasn't bad. It had good benefits, but I wanted to do something more meaningful with my life, and then was able to become a licensed practical nurse. It's very rewarding. So we all progress at different stages in our life and different levels.
That's an amazing story for you that at a certain point you just said, hey, I want to experience more on the job. It's really cool. Does anyone have any questions for either Bill or Kyle? And I just have a few more questions before we wrap up. But so you and Kyle have been a team, really, and what so many people struggle with sustaining a team. So many people struggle with being on a team for long periods of time because it gets to be infighting and drama and whatnot all. What would you say about maintaining teamwork for a very extended period of time?
I think for us, it's more of it's a little different than maybe environment in the workplace. We have similar likes, and some of that may be because he's lived with me for a long time, but I also have to respect the things that he likes and wants to do too. And he's started to explore some of that. He's made some friends outside the home, and just people that he's met at also the rehabilitation program he goes to. So he's made some connections that way. I think it's just kind of works with us, and we especially with some of the visiting with candidates and participating in forums, and Kyle loves to do that, and it just kind of works. I don't know if that really answers it, but I think it's more of a natural progression. I think, again, like anybody, I have to respect what his desires are, to things he wants to do, and have to support that.
And that's like being on any team, we need to respect the desires of the other team members and do our best to support them if the team's going to work well.
Yep.
And then one last question. I talk about imperfect best, doing your imperfect best a lot. And what I mean by that is we go for the best we can be, but when mistakes happen, we cover from them and move on, and that's kind of what I mean. But what does imperfect best mean to you two?
I think I totally agree with that, and I think that's why we really connected with you at the ID Action Conference because of that. And obviously, Kyle's experience has been through disability, and that's been from the time he was born, whether it was health, education, and then finally employment. And one of the things, my own story is I have ADD, and that wasn't easy for me to recognize, but in order to get back into school and progress, I had to recognize it because I needed some supports. But it really, none of us are perfect, and it bothers me when folks sometimes think that they are, and they're the ones that probably need to work on it the most, because life's a journey, and we strive to get to that destination, but that destination probably doesn't exist. It's just we got to strive to get there, but I don't none of us ever do, because life changes and systems change, and so we have to go with it. Sometimes that's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse, but that's sort of that journey that you're kind of going which way, like, up and down. Do you think?
Be wonderful. My one of my dear friends, Dan Johnson, says, "Hello, fellas. As a manager, having worked with a job coach, I have to say it was very rewarding. Thanks for bringing this topic up."
Awesome. Thank you, Dan, and thank you for tuning in. It is something that we need to share more and let folks know. And again, going back to, talking to employers, know that those supports are there, and tap into them, because you may end up with the best employee ever.
And you are remarkable. I mean, you're just a remarkable person, Kyle. And you exude that to whoever you meet, including me, who you didn't really know at the conference I was speaking at. And you're a remarkable son and brother and employee, and as you, Bill, you're remarkable, and I'm so glad to call both of you your friends, and that I met you guys, and it was really good to be friends now, and
You bet.
and thanks so much for coming on today. Yeah, thanks for your time, Kyle. Well, as we leave, can we just dance a tiny bit? I know we don't have music.
Yeah, give us a little rock and roll there, Kyle. The show is yours. Kyle definitely likes to dance, even when there's no music.
I'm sorry I don't have music for you, but it's really fun dancing. So we do the arm movement. Thank you. And to carry us out, Stacy Lyman. Do you know Stacy?
Yes. Thank you so much, Stacy. Thank you so much for tuning in and hearing us talk more. Sky's the limit. Really is.
So inspiring. Thanks for both of your time, and we best get off before dinner time, huh, Kyle?
But we got Dan up dancing now, so.
and Stacy gives a heart. So I appreciate the song so much. Thank you both, and thanks everyone for tuning in and for the comments and just the love and the caring. Together we all can work together to make this planet and this life exceptional.
Thank you so much, Jason, for having us. Always a pleasure visiting with you, and great to see you. Hopefully when all this stuff is over, we'll get to meet up in person again.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Awesome.
Bye. And and then I'm doing the closing, not seamlessly though, not at all seamlessly, but here it is. The thank you. Are you ready? Let's go.